So the biggest piece of news coming out of NXT, that great episode of NXT, is the rumored working partnership between WWE and TNA and all the possibilities of what this could possibly mean. Now, we saw Jordynne Grace appear at the Royal Rumble earlier this year. She had a great showing. We saw Jordynne Grace appear on NXT, had a great showing, and everybody is to wonder what's to come. So again, whenever it comes to wrestling news or inside information, if it involves TNA / Impact Wrestling, the number one source I trust is Mike Johnson. And Mike Johnson posted this in regard to a potential working relationship between NXT and TNA. He said the word backstage at tonight's NXT taping was that Jordynne Grace appearing on WWE NXT Battleground was not the only WWE TNA collaboration in the days ahead. The belief among those we've spoken with is that there will be some sort of NXT representation on future TNA events and programming as well, although we haven't heard how much that could be, whether it could be around anyone beyond Roxanne Perez. He says, my guess is we'll see something at the TNA events in Chicago at either the Against All Odds pay-per-view on June 14th or the subsequent TV tapings on June 15th at Cicero Stadium, but obviously that's not confirmed. Since there's no other TNA events before that, it's a pretty easy line to draw, however. TNA champion Jordynne Grace will face NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez at the June 9th WWE NXT Battleground pay-per-view in Las Vegas. Give it up for Mike Johnson. Love Mike Johnson. Please check out his content. Please subscribe to it. I'm a big fan of his work. He does excellent work, and his reporting, I would say, is very trustworthy. So my thoughts on this. Listen, I'm excited. WWE does a great job with, if they're going to invest in you, if they're going to have you on their TV, they want it to feel like a big deal. Do I expect Jordynne Grace to come in and beat Roxanne Perez? No, I don't. But Jordynne Grace looked strong in the Royal Rumble. She didn't come in there and get smacked around and tossed out, just like Mickie James when she was in the Royal Rumble a couple years ago. So I expect Jordynne Grace to have a strong showing against Roxanne Perez. Not only that, Jordynne Grace is also going to have a match on NXT next week against another character who's not on TV as much. They did a segment where they were backstage, and this young lady's in Ava's office, and she's just saying, what did Jordynne Grace do to earn a championship? And then Jordynne Grace walks in and is like, yo, I heard you say my name, so what's up? And so now they're going to have a match next week on NXT. So Jordynne Grace is getting multiple chances to get exposure on WWE shows, and that is a huge thing. Now, as far as who they can, what they can do as far as a crossover, well, here's the thing. If they decide to let Jordynne Grace get the win over Roxanne Perez, she'll have Roxanne's NXT Women's Championship, and she would take that back, and then I guess she would lose that back to Roxanne Perez, potentially at Slammiversary or something like that, which could be a really fun bit of storytelling, and it highlights and underscores something. Thinking back to the working relationship between Impact Wrestling and AEW, that was not fun. There was, it was great for Kenny Omega, right? Kenny Omega was doing his belt collector gimmick. WWE creative was not especially strong at the time, and AEW felt very new. So at the time, this idea that AEW and Impact were linking up, it really kind of set this idea up that WWE wants to be isolationist, as in we exist apart from everybody else, and everybody else is going to come together and say, you know what? We're working together. We're here for all the wrestling fans. Let's do our thing. And that would have worked so much better if creatively AEW put some sort of stock and equity into the TNA talent they were working with. Instead, AEW treated TNA like what AEW treated TNA like like a kid at the lunch table, the one who gets picked on, right? And most of the kids picking on the kid at the lunch table aren't the really secure, popular kids. It's really the kids who are right there in that middle tier, and they want to separate themselves from the really unpopular kids, so they pile on the unpopular kid and pick on them. That's what AEW was, right? AEW wanted to draw a clear line that we're much better than Impact Wrestling, so they did their little vignettes where they would make fun of Impact Wrestling on Impact Wrestling show. They had Kenny Omega take that title, refused to drop it to anybody, should have dropped it to Josh Alexander, no matter what you say. And there even was a story about Sammy Guevara supposed to go to Impact Wrestling, but he went there and he pitched an idea where he would win the X Division title, go undefeated, and nobody would ever beat him. He would never lose it, and he would just like go away. And I'm like, dog, like this is so stupid. So like clearly, right, the AEW had this complex about we have to appear superior to Impact Wrestling, and it came through in every single bit of the creative, and it was stupid. It was stupid. Even when Deonna Purrazzo had the ROH title and they brought her on to Dynamite to have like a quick match with Mercedes Martinez so she could drop that title to her. They never did anything with Mercedes Martinez. And meanwhile, Deonna Purrazzo was on this great run of carrying multiple titles. So AEW just fumbled that situation so badly, which was really stupid because you had this attraction from another promotion, right? Which would make people watching your show more curious about these other people. And instead of making them appear strong, you just wanted to make your guys appear so much stronger. And it was stupid. Like there's logic in wrestling that says, you build up your opponent before you beat them. Because if you say you're terrible, you're no good, and then you beat your opponent, well, you just beat nobody, right? But if you build up your opponent, then you overcame a great challenge, right? But apparently, Tony Khan never applied this theory to their working relationship with Impact Wrestling. And apparently, Scott D'Amore was just so desperate to be seen in the same light as AEW that he was willing to take any creative that AEW would offer, and it didn't look well from a creative standpoint for Impact Wrestling. But in this case, you see Jordynne Grace, and she's being presented as strong, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen between Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez. I don't expect Jordynne Grace to win, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Because again, if Jordynne Grace beats Roxanne Perez, then you got a great opening for Roxanne Perez to go back and challenge Jordynne Grace back for the title. And it gives Roxanne Perez something interesting to do. This is kind of, a dead period, right? Between the two of them. And you know what they could do? Actually, they could go 1-1, and they could have the blow-off match at SummerSlam. Oh, man. Whoa. I just thought of that right now. But so listen, there's plenty of opportunities and possibilities here. Also, again, you got guys on NXT who could go work in TNA. And again, because NXT is all about building up guys and getting more reps and preparing to work in front of different crowds, work in different situations to prepare yourself for ultimately a run on the WWE main roster, then that would only be good for them, right? That would only be good for them. So I'd love to see some of the NXT guys have a run in TNA, work a few matches with some of the some of the better TNA guys. And I gotta tell you, I would love to see them put somebody against Josh Alexander because, baby, woo, that man can go. I don't think you should go champion versus champion, though. I don't want to see Josh Alexander versus Trick Williams because that wouldn't make my boy Trick look too good. But definitely, look, man, Put Josh Alexander against it could be anybody. It could be like a Obafemi, who's a big deal, but not like your top guy. It could be like a Tony D'Angelo, who's like a top, somebody who they clearly have hold in very high regard. Like, there's a lot of guys they could do. I would love to see them do something where they put Wentz and Miguel back together with Wes Lee for the Rascals. Yes. Oh my God. A Rascals reunion? Yo, that'd be ridiculous. But yes, there's so many possibilities to be had, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited about where this can go because unlike AEW, I actually trust the creative direction and vision that NXT applies to stuff. And I don't think they're going to just give us matches, right? Like, I don't think they're going to just give us matches. I think they're going to give us something that we actually want to see. But what are you guys looking forward to when it comes to the possibilities between TNA and NXT working together? Drop them down in the comments and let me know. All right.